Hi, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at a training game that I played on chess.com. Um, so I played somebody rated 1715. I'm currently one away from my highest rating ever on chess.com, 1739. So let's look at this game and see what happens. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm sure I will later. Um, I had the black pieces. That's sort of unfortunate, but I think I'd wait the last two games. E4, E5, knight F3, knight to C6. And we have a Roy Lopez. I like A6 here. I invite the capture on C6 if they want to play that way. But my opponent played bishop to A4. And I played knight to F6. This attacks their pawn. But on the other hand, white can also take if they wish, and then capture my pawn. They castled instead. Bishop to E7 and D4. Okay, so I know that I've seen this move in the past, but I think it's been like a year. I had this over the board, so it's definitely been at least a year. Now, I think I actually made a huge blunder when I first started this opening because I believe it was against Jim Nix, a 1900 player, where I played D6 question mark, and then he played D5, and yeah, my knight's pinned. My knight's pinned and attacked, and I almost lost material. I had to go like this. Actually, in that game, I feel like I couldn't even play B5. For some reason, my bishop, oh yeah, because I used to play bishop C5, and my bishop was on B6, and I didn't even have the move B5, and I lost material and the game. So I'm very hesitant when I play D6 now, understanding that this knight is pinned if I do that. So I played B5 first. This is probably fine, but let's have a look at what the actual moves are, since I don't know this opening. So it says take on D4. So I thought if I did this, they would go E5, which is second most popular. Rook E1 is the main line. And after E5, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my knight. But yeah, knight E4 is normal and is the normal move. And then they can take on D4. And then I would take on D4. And then they take. Now my knight's under attack. And I should go knight to C5, attacking the bishop. It is defended, no worries there. And they go knight C3 here, defending the bishop. And a castle. I don't think I've ever seen this exact line, so that's kind of interesting to me. And here, it looks like white usually plays, or I'm sorry, black plays. Who plays? Oh, white plays knight to D5, and there's a lot of draws in this variation, like 54 draws. So I bet there's some sort of like forcing draw line. That's my guess. Because there's no reason for there to be that many draws. But, okay. So I should take that pawn apparently. Instead, I didn't know what to do. So I played B5, which is third most common. But it looks like white scores way better in this line. So we're going to take a look at what the computer says. So after D4, it says E takes D4 and the position is equal. After B5, the computer very much likes white. And I was actually wondering about this during the game. I wondered if they could take here. You know, because if we do this exchange, I'm not sure I like these pawns. You know, like that is not the best for me. And my bishop's already moved. It's going to move again. It says e5 now. Yeah, this looks scary because rook e1, queen e2. I mean, the e-file is a dangerous place for my king. So it actually says don't take that pawn. Yeah, I'm pretty sure takes, pin, f4 is coming, right? So let's see. Yeah, knight takes, e5 wins, because if here, oh, it's not even rook e1. Rook e1's good. Queen d5 is even better. Queen d5 is a fork. So my intuition is right there. Don't take that pawn. Well, if we can't take it, then we have to play bishop e7 again. So our bishop did this. That's a good use of tempos. And by that, I mean it's not a good use of tempos. So, okay. Yeah, so white could have gotten a nice advantage by taking me up. This is why they don't play b5, because this is a move. So instead of that, they retreated, lucky for me, and I played d6. Yeah, I mean, I thought about taking again. If I take now, e5 looks good, doesn't it? Where does my knight go? There is no knight d5. So I probably have to go knight g4. But here, rook e1. And I did see this line briefly in my head. And I was like, well, you know, h3 is coming. And when it does, I've had positions like this in tournament games too. And well, even though my king's not castled, I already played b5. So I don't think my king is going to have a happy home this game. So I didn't like knight g4, which is why I didn't take on d4. And instead I played d6. And I'm like, well, I don't know this opening. I'm going to play d6. If he wants to trade queens like this, I was going to take with the knight. And if he wants to do this, I was okay with it. I was actually planning on taking with the bishop. Yeah, the computer agrees. Now, white is slightly better here. And by slightly, kind of more better than I thought. They could play a4. I would play bishop b7. And this kind of happens in the game. Huh. I guess white's better here, although it's not that easy for me to understand why. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would play this position. I'm not that upset with it. Okay, but let's go back. So in the actual game, it went d4, b5. Now he should take on e5, but he did not. Bishop b3, d6, and c3, which feels passive to me. But I thought, you know, maybe he played this because now if I take on d4, he can have the pawn duo in the center. But also maybe this transposes into some of the Italian torture, the Spanish torture variations that I try to avoid with the martial attack. So that crossed my mind. It's probably true, to be honest. All right, so I castled. I'm not castled, and he is. I definitely thought about bishop g4, but knight bd2, I mean, who cares? So I castled, and he played the move a4. Okay, so this is a threat. He's threatening to take, and I won't be able to take back because there's a pin, right? Like, he'll take my rook. So I think bishop b7 is a very natural response to this. Now, I'm surprised to see that bishop g4 is the move the computer wants. So, what? I guess we're going to take on d4, but I mean, I would expect this move. It is a tempo on the knight. And, oh, I didn't even see it. Okay. For some reason, I thought that the only way to unpin was this move, but of course we can bring the bishop out the other ways. That was a blind spot on my part. So I went here. Had I known that bishop g4 was a move, I would have played that. I do think it's better. I mean, it's just like anytime your opponent's bishop cannot come to e2, because that would be a crazy move, that's illegal, then this pin becomes more viable. And I don't like the look of h3 and bishop and g4. I thought I might even sacrifice. I'm not sure because knight bd2 is there. But then I at least have this. I think this is why the computer likes all that, because that would be possible. So bishop d7, that's an inaccuracy in my opinion, because bishop g4 is a better move. And he took, I took, and I'm like, well, if you want to trade rooks, I'm okay with that. Now, I actually thought for a minute here, because do I take with a bishop or do I take with the queen? I actually thought the queen looked pretty good. Now, if the rook could slide over to a1, this other rook, I don't think I'd play this move, but that's not happening. That's definitely not happening. And also, if I take with the queen, I just need to make sure that everything the queen's defending is going to be okay without the queen, but I think it is. So I actually did take with the queen, and the computer agrees with this move, so happy to see it. And now d5 was played, closing the position. So I think, you know, my opponent was playing against my battery. They're like, well, good luck getting your battery going. But I actually disagree with this, because I'm going to move my knight and play c6. And that's going to be a lot of pressure on d5. And that is what I played for from here. So I went knight a5, tempo on the bishop. He moved away. Wow, I'm happy to see this. c6, top computer move. I can play chess once in a while. Yeah, it looks obvious to me, though. We're going to put immediate pressure on the white center and open up our battery. Not to mention, look at white's development. They have a little bit to go. So that means pawn breaks are desirable for us. We want to open up the game. So c6. Okay. Bishop g5. Definitely have to look at moves like this, but I think since the bishop is defended, that's not really viable. They could just simply take the knight, and then when I trade, I lose material. So don't do that. So instead, I just took. So I'm happy to see the computer agrees. So we made a threat to take on d5. They did not challenge that threat. Well, they kind of did. I mean, they're going to take the knight, which is helping. But I have enough on it anyway, so I took. They took here. Got to take back. They took back. And now I should probably just take the pawn, right? It looks like a pawn. So I took it. So I'm up a pawn. Knight bd2. This is what I would have played if I was white as well. I was looking at this move because I was threatening to take the knight. And then if the queen takes, I take the queen. And it's going to wreck the white structure, which actually does happen. But here I played knight to c4. And if he takes, I was thinking about taking on f3. This actually is a very interesting part of the game. Now, I didn't realize this fully. I thought I was better here. I thought slightly better. The computer says -2 for black. I mean, I am up a pawn, but I also have activity. So hence, -2. So, he took my knight. Now I have 3 candidate moves. I have pawn takes knight, I have bishop takes knight, and I have bishop takes other knight. And computer likes them all, but it likes the one I played the least. Man, chess is hard. Plus, I had to watch out for queen d3, but I thought I could always meet queen d3 with g6. And I have this dark square bishop, so g6 is going to be okay. I can always tuck my bishop away if I need to defend. And then I can play f5. So I took here, which is wrong. Okay, so I need to understand. Now, I thought taking the knight this way. What did I think here? Actually, I don't know what I thought. Actually, don't know. Computer says queen e2. I think I just didn't like leaving the bishop here, but our pawns are nice. I need to get in d5. If I got in d5, I'd be all set. I'd be all set. I have a b2 weakness to work with. But it's not clear if I will get d5 in. That's not clear to me. Like a move like rook e1 puts pressure here, right? The knight and the rook. So then if I play d5, this gets undefended. So those are the issues I was wrestling with in my mind. So after this, I took here. Now taking here I thought was interesting as well. He can't really take here because I'm on the rook. So he would have to move the rook with rook e1. But again, there is pressure here, and I thought he might be able to kick my bishop away and solve his weakness. So I didn't like that so much. Computer wants rook d8, which I agree. And then h3. What about this, though? Just curious about this move. It says bishop d5 is good. I'm going to put pressure on the knight. If the knight moves, maybe we'll take this. I don't know. Computer wants h4. What? I would probably take this. Yeah, and I would think this is better for black, and it is. It is better for black. I mean, I'm going to take this, right? Why can't I take this? I'm up 2 pawns. Yeah, I like my chances. Okay. Like 1 pawn is like, okay, it's a pawn. 2 pawns is like, okay, you're winning, you know? I think it's that much of a difference from 1 to 2 pawns. All right, so in the actual game, I just want to understand that better, but I took here intermezzo, which seems tricky. Yeah, and he played the best move, g takes f3. I actually expected queen takes. I was surprised to see this move, but makes sense. And now I should take the knight, which I did. And okay, I mean, I'm only slightly better now. Crazy. Bishop e4. I didn't see that move coming, but I should have. That's a good move. And I went ahead and infiltrated with this move. So if he wants to take on d6, I will take on b2. And I thought, you know, this might be annoying if he lets me get that. So I expected this. Now I think I should play g6. Yeah, computer agrees. And then rook here. So now he's going to take this with the rook. Instead of defending, I played actively. Let's see. Computer likes it. And then I was like, is he really going to play rook d2? But he did. Okay, rook d2 makes sense. And, you know, we're at the part of the game now where I felt like I was better, but I wasn't exactly sure how to continue. And my clock was ticking. And this is a theme for a lot of my games and, well, a lot of chess players, not just me. It's easy to look at a computer analysis and be like, hey, you're better. It's a whole nother thing to play with 5 minutes on your clock and find the exact right moves. So here, what should I play? The move the computer is giving is not a move I considered. In fact, the second move I did consider at least. And the third move I definitely considered and maybe played. All right, so I didn't play, wow. I didn't play any of the top moves. I played bishop to g5, attacking the rook. Idea was maybe I can park the bishop here. He's going to have to move his rook and maintain defense of my b-pawn. But there's no way for me to increase the pressure or break through at all. Like, so it's tough, you know, like he went here. So instead, let's see the plan the computer wants, because I'm very curious about it. Computer says queen to a6, which, so what is this move and why is it good? It seems very slow to me. This move says to me we're giving up on our plan of winning the b-pawn, and we're going to play solid. We're maintaining control of the a file. We're keeping this check in reserve, and we're just defending. We're just being solid here. Now, I was worried about this move, so let's put that on the board. Computer says now play bishop g5. I would expect the rook to go wherever it wants now. Maybe rook d1. Just keep x-raying this, you know. And now it says queen a2 again. What? I was just on a2. Oh, look at this. We're toying with white. We're toying with white. I mean, I would expect him to come back. Oh, he can't come back this time. Look at that. That's cute. All right, so let's say he goes here instead. Then what does the computer want? Because now if I go here, you know, he's still defending. Now the computer says rook to c8, which I don't understand. Passive. But frees up my queen. Yeah, I feel like this is like we're going to toy with white and slowly improve. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the moves ahead. It looks like we do get d5 in somehow, which is our dream move. So I guess that can be orchestrated somehow. I'm not sure how, though. Maybe rook c5. Yeah, rook c5. That's the idea. Because rook c5 attacks the bishop, and then we can come here. See, playing chess like this, I need to learn because I don't fully understand even now without my clock ticking. I don't fully understand what we're doing, what we're going for here. So I might make a flashcard of this position and try to learn more about how to proceed here. But okay, in the game, let's go back. I attacked the rook, he moved it, and then I decided to go for this check. Black's still better here. He went here, and I was planning this, which admittedly doesn't look like a strong plan, but it's a plan. So I was expecting him to take. He did not. He played bishop d5. So I took, and I reasoned that I'm up a pawn and I have better pawns. Yeah, gotta save my c pawn. Rook c8 is the best move. You know, that's one of the hardest things in chess. They say don't go passive. And then sometimes going passive is the absolute correct move because it's the only way to defend something. That's what rook c8 is. So it is correct. But it's not a move you want to play. Then again, I have this soon. All right, so I think he saw that and played b4 to... This does allow me to trade off my pawn. He came back. I actually wonder if I should have allowed that. Yeah, computer says no. Rook c5 here. Don't allow the bishop back, because once this bishop comes in, he can play c4. That's pretty nice. That bishop's entrenched in the middle of the board. Aimed at my king. Yeah, I bet you this is a bad mistake. Let's see. King g7. Yeah, bishop g5. Okay. I played f5 and, of course, c4. But the good news is my rook is free to roam. I should probably activate it. Okay, that's a top computer move. But yeah, this part of the game, I felt like maybe I wasn't better anymore. Computer disagrees because I'm up a pawn, but white's getting counterplay now, and some of the counterplay is really good, if you ask me. Like, for example, I saw this coming. If I come here, I thought he could play this. If my rook wasn't here, because I was planning on that. And then how do I save that pawn? And how do I not get checkmated? Actually, I'm seeing a funny line. Like, would I have king g7, like forking the rook and bishop? That would be hilarious. I think I do. All right, I'll look at that really quick, because I thought, like, let's say I bring my rook down. I'm not saying I would do this, but I thought check here. Oh, why did I think the rook was on h8? I don't know. I don't know. But it says I have bishop h4 here, making a square for my king. I think that's what that is. And then when he takes, which looks very scary, I come up, no problem. If he checks me, I take it, no problem. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess black's still better here, which is a little insane, but I kind of get now that the rook's coming here and he's not going to save his f-pawn. So understanding whether you live or die in these situations, that's another hard part of chess, I think. Like, you can see stuff coming, but then you have to evaluate it and be like, can I survive that? Okay, so I went here defending my d-pawn. What does the computer want here? It wants king h6 straight away. Or rook to b1. But I went here because I thought he was going to go rook to a6. You know, I realize now I would have bishop e7 there, followed by king f6. But there's also lines where I might get checkmated. Like, I have to be careful if my king ends up here, because if we picked up this rook and put it on f7, that looks like checkmate to me. Like, I would have to move my bishop to avoid checkmate. So you just got to keep that in mind, I think. So I didn't go up, I went down, yeah, because if I go up, let's see if I'm right. Yeah, mate in one. I'm glad I saw that. So I have to go this way. Now he can win the h-pawn, which he did. Yeah, and the computer says it's equal now, so I misplayed this part of the game. Now, I had 10 seconds here, I'm not going to lie. But still, I didn't find the right moves when I had them. I didn't keep the pressure up when I had the pressure. So that is definitely the part of the game I'm most interested in. But let's look at the rest. Okay, my plan was this, you know, pin the f-pawn and attack it and win it. So he came back. I was like, no, you're not getting out of that. I'm winning your f-pawn. He checked me. I come here. Once again, I've got to be very careful about king f6. So I was like, take my pawn, I'll take yours. Okay. And, you know, at least I have counterplay now. Bishop f4 looks scary. So I thought he would have to play rook g2, which he did. Now I really don't want to take. And I was actually planning this move, and then I realized, oh wait, I can't do that. It's defended. So if I can't play that, then I don't know. Felt like I was worse here, but computer says it's equal. I traded rooks. And I felt like this is just equal, but I'll play on and try to trick my opponent somehow. Yeah, I think I should go e4. Computer agrees. This pawn is weak. I have to maintain defense. So e4 helps me trade it off. Now that's much better. Here I push it. Bishop here. So opposite color bishops, when pieces are on the board, mean that the attacks are stronger because there's not an opposing defender. But here, it's just pawns and not many of them. So I think it's probably just a draw. I don't think I can do anything here. I can try to get my king up, which I did. I mean, this is as close to as winning as I can get, but I don't think it's enough. Yeah, there's no way forward here. I thought I would route my bishop here. That way, that's the best square, obviously. But there's just no progress to be had. I could try to march my king to get this, but then this pawn starts to roll. So why allow that? So yeah, it ended up being a draw. I'm sad to say. So this is just like 2 games ago. It felt similar, where that one was worse though. I had like +5 or whatever as white and got in time pressure, didn't find the right moves, and got a draw. And this game is the same, except I wasn't necessarily winning, but I was up a pawn and I ended up giving it back. So interesting game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to click through the moments like I like to. I think it's always good to review the game in its entirety and get like a big picture approach after you analyze. Computer liked that move. That's funny. Because I thought d takes e5 is good. Can't always believe the analysis. It's a little weaker than letting the engine run for a while. Yeah, and this is a critical moment. So I had 3 candidate moves. I looked at them all and chose the worst one. It's just funny to me, but it's true. I think I have to take this way. Somehow that's best. I think just keeping the pressure on this must be good. And by taking with a pawn, we're opening that b file. I mean, I know I did that in the game, but this is their backwards pawn. We want to attack that. So by taking this way, we're allowing an avenue to attack it with the rook. Oops. I did not want to do that. Okay, let's do this. G6. Game changer, the best reply. Okay, that's forced. I mean, what else was I going to play? All right. Game changer. Queen a1 check. Okay. -3, it says. So I went wrong somewhere. King g7 is a mistake. I still have an advantage, but there's only one good move. What would it be? I remember. I have to stop bishop d5 with rook c5. Yeah, that was the critical moment. Wow. This is where I lost most of my advantage. I cannot allow that move because the bishop stations there and the pawn comes in. And it did feel like, to me, like white stabilized somehow after that move. If I played rook c5, then I'm actually threatening to play d5. That's the move I really want to get in. If I get d5 in, then this pawn is weak, and my pawns are not. In fact, I would have this next. So, wow. Instead, bishop d5 came, and, you know, see my pawn? It doesn't like that move, really. So I have something better here. Oh, it probably wants me to save my pawn. With king f6, which looks really scary. But let's try it. Yeah, that's so scary. If the rook can move like a bishop, it's checkmate. So it's just like, I guess they can't, but that's a scary move to play. Okay, well, it says that my opponent had 95.8% accuracy. I had 97%. It's hard to complain. That's a well-played game, 97. And in the report, they had 4 inaccuracies and 2 mistakes. I had 4 inaccuracies and 2 mistakes. So I guess a draw is a fair result. So kudos to my opponent. Ed Zanica was his name, from Indonesia. Yeah, that was a good game. And, well, I'm happy I only lost 1 rating point. That means I can play another and go for a new high rating, which I intend to do. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more chess. Okay, bye.